Phil Simms is normally very complimentary. He's normally not a critical type of guy when it comes to quarterbacks. He'll look for the best in them. What I'm interested, six quarterbacks in the first 12 picks. And I'm trying to figure out who's not going to be a good quarterback in the NFL amongst the six. I mean, what are the odds? The odds are only two are really going to be good. But is it possible all six are really going to be good? I mean, you never know. And then it would be a historic draft. But I'm trying to figure out who are going to be the good ones and who are not, who are going to be so. And I'm going back and forth. I'm a little higher now on Jaden Daniels than I was before. Caleb Williams, you kind of wonder whether he could be another Jameis Winston, who was a number one overall draft choice. And you wonder Drake May, he's a little iffy because you keep hearing he needs all this time. If he is so far from being ready, Drake May, you kind of wonder, is he ever really going to be fully ready? And then there's Bo Nix. Maybe he'll surprise us. And McCarthy, who I'm not crazy about. So we'll see.
We'll see. Good morning to Philly Sports Guy Pags. Thanks for coming in this morning. Pleasure having you we have you every Sunday in here, and we'll talk a little Philly news. And as you just heard Jack say, he's not sure who will be good. I mean, it's not just the quarterback; it's what team they end up with. It's who's the coaching staff. I mean, there's so many variables. I mean, it's hard for any quarterback being taken high to do good. Pags.
I think they're all going to stink. Just my opinion. Some will be better than others, but I don't think any one of them. I think when we look back 10 years from now, none of these six are going to win a Super Bowl. And if that should be the ultimate, measuring stick.
The question I have, the question I have for you is: are they actually going to be their franchise quarterbacks? Are they going to make that change in the team to at least get them to the playoffs?
Chicago named Caleb Williams as their starter already. Are you kidding me? All right, let's draft him first. Let's give him the keys to the franchise, and let's hope that he's going to be everything that we want him to be. There was nothing that I've seen of his play when looking at some of the tapes that makes me think that he's LeBron James. When you anoint somebody king, he better be kingly. And I don't see that with him. Just my opinion.
James disagrees with you completely, I could tell, because that's his guy, Caleb Williams. He thinks he's going to be a stud. Right.
I do disagree. I don't know about Caleb Williams, but I disagree with the take regarding measuring the Super Bowl. I mean, if that's the case, we're going off that logic. Respectfully, I have to say, Dan Marino was not a good quarterback. I mean, but he had a great career. But he was still, he went to the Hall of Fame first ballot. I'm not saying that you should say that these guys won't be good. I could see why, when you go to bad teams like Max said.
And let's think about what you just said. You, out of the 60 years of their big Super Bowls, you chose the one quarterback who went over and above every record and everything else and didn't win a Super Bowl. Name
Frank Tarkenton, Jim Kelly.
Again, he went to 4 Super Bowls,
but they didn't win. Jim Kelly,
Jim Kelly. But they went to Super Bowls. You're actually, fighting my argument for me.
Well, no, I'm just saying he's a great quarterback. Who knew that these guys would be? These guys were great in college. But they didn't go on to win any Super Bowls. They went to them, but these guys that we're talking about now, they had some levels of success in college. We just don't know where they're going to be 10 years from now. Like you said, let's. I guess we can wait until 10 years. I respectfully disagree to say that they won't be good. I just don't know. I don't know if these guys won't be good or not.
Neither do I. This is just a take on what I've seen from these players now. Again, we could go 5 years into the future, and I might look foolish by that statement. You know what I mean? But I feel that out of these six, the last time there was this monstrous um, group of quarterbacks that came out that they were expecting everybody to be really good, I don't remember really any of them. You know what I mean? In fact, they all kind of fell off. And then the following year, when there was only like two or three quarterbacks, those quarterbacks went to more Super Bowls than the other six combined. You know what I mean? So, I just feel that there's too much hype on these guys, and I think that the hype got bought into by NFL teams.
I think
And
a
these
few
NFL
years ago,
teams are fighting.
The closest in modern times would be Baker Mayfield going number one, Sam Darnold going number three, Josh Allen, I think number nine or something like that, and Josh Rosen number 11. Josh Rosen is out of the league, but but Josh Allen is a star. He is a legitimate star, and Baker Mayfield has had a decent career, all in all. If you look at it, 6 years in the league, and he is a starting quarterback now. I mean, it hasn't. And the reason the Browns moved on from him only because they thought they could do a little better with Deshaun Watson. They thought they were getting one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Deshaun Watson. So Baker Mayfield has been more successful than not. Sorry, Sony, even though he didn't stick with Carolina. So yeah, it's hit and miss. And Sam Darnold's story might not be over. Hasn't quite worked out, but technically he started in Minnesota. He's not going to hold on to the job there because they drafted J.J. McCarthy. He won't hold on to it beyond this year, I don't think. But he could have a good year, and he could wind up starting somewhere else next year.
I heard he was going back to the Jets. I heard the Jets are going to trade for him.
Yeah, Jets will definitely.
No, he needed. What about Mac? Your words are contradictory because you just said with Daniel Jones he could maybe be a good starting quarterback somewhere else. His situation's the same as Sam Darnold. When the Giants move on from Daniel Jones, maybe he'll land somewhere else. I mean, we don't know. I don't think so, but he has enough ability that he might be able to in the right situation.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying that maybe's a big word, right? I mean, maybe he ends up in Carolina and knocks Bryce Young out of it.
We don't want him.
Oh yeah, Daniel Jones to Carolina. That would
We
be a
don't
nice
want
fit.
him. I'm surprised the Giants still have Daniel Jones. Like,
Yeah,
seriously.
So am I. So anyway, let's do some Philly sports here. Under head coach Sirianni, not known for their practice. I guess Sirianni is not a big practice guy, following Allen Iverson, famous words, practice. But anyway, he wasn't a big practice guy. So they hire Fangio. Part of his agreement was for him to come over there, they would have to practice more. And the Eagles are going to practice more. It's going to be more intense than it was last year, and a little old school stuff there. And I think maybe the Eagles need that. I think they need a little old school coaching in there to make them work a little bit harder than they did last year. The offensive coordinator, Moore and Sirianni, are going to work together to get a offensive game plan together. So. Pags, it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be easy for that coaching staff and the players, to get together. I mean, I think that's something that has to be worked on. I think relationships are going to have to be built there. And if you're going from, not practicing really hard to practicing hard, you might have some disgruntled players. I don't know.
Aren't you insulted, Pags? He said your team is lazy. Basically, that's what Max was saying. Mac was saying they didn't work hard last year. They didn't have a game plan. Don't you take offense to that, Pags?
I don't think he said anything like that. I mean, it's like what he said is like somebody saying to you, "Hey, I like your hair." So, it's
they said it.
realistically, I mean, this was all stuff that needed to have happened in the first place. Let's make it come to fruition. Let's see what happens on the field. I'm tired of talking about, hey, what things could happen, where we could wind up being. What's our record going to be now? Let's show that we were supposed to be in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and by getting back there again, we have the talent on the team. We just got to make sure we put it all together. And I think that's now it's time to put up and shut up. Let's put it up and just let us play out the string. Obviously injuries could happen. This is football. There's lots of different things. I mean, it took them forever to finally get the script together. You know what I mean? So literally it was like, they took forever. I got my script right here. And they sent it to me. And what it says is that the Jets are still going to stink. And Rodgers is not going to be the savior there. I read it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad Jason is watching today. He made his comment, his opinion well known. The Eagles will fold like a cheap suit. And he told you to go get
a lawn chair.
Mac, you asked a really good question earlier, and I didn't have the answer. I wasn't on top of my game. I wasn't sharp. What is one of the big storylines in the NFL this year? To me, it's this. We saw the Knicks fans take over Philadelphia, the arena, when they played the Sixers. Will the Giant fans now be emboldened by that? Will they take over the stadium when the Giants go visit the Eagles?
They know better. The Giants fans are afraid to come to Philadelphia. They know better. But go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question.
I think Jack asked you that last week, the same question, maybe a little bit differently, but I think he asked the same question. Jess, it happens as you get older. I'm definitely not afraid to go to Philadelphia and wear my Giants stuff anyway.
You would, Mac. You'd wear your Giants stuff.
Why not? What is to be scared of? I think they appreciate loyal fans. They may give me a little harassment, but that's you're supposed to do that. That's all fun. Probably end up with Pags at the bar, drinking at Eagles bar and celebrating the Giants win. But anyway, the Eagles owner and the GM working together. They've really put it all on the line this year, Pags, to try to get this team back. We talked about hiring a coaching staff. Their draft selections, their off-season moves, getting Saquon Barkley as a weapon that they didn't have last year. So listen, the front office is doing everything it can to get the Eagles back to the top. You got to appreciate what the work they do there.
Hey, we went into the draft with 8 picks. We wound up with 9 guys and 3 picks next year. I think that shows us pretty good.
Yes.
We wound up with the 2 best corners in the draft, and and a feel-good story with Jeremiah Trotter. Everybody loves to say, "Hey, I love that Jeremiah Trotter pick." I'm like, I hope he makes the team.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I think that the draft is definitely Howie's season, as they call it here, because there's not many GMs that are able to do the things that he's able to do.
Let me ask you this, Pags. Max said yesterday, and now I'm not sure how accurate it is, that Jason Kelsey has been hanging around the Eagles facility a lot. And I said, if that's true, that means he's coming back. He's not just going to hang out to socialize with the guys. The urge to play again is going to be too great. Have you heard any rumors as far as that goes?
Nope. He wants to be a part. He doesn't want to leave football. I think that's apparent. And I don't think he wants to play anymore. He may decide if there's an injury to that offensive line, he may decide to play. But it's a lot of ifs and maybes. I think he wants to keep himself in shape. I think he's trying to, it's like quitting smoking. You could quit cold turkey, or you could try to wean yourself off. He's weaning himself off.
I agree, Pags. I mean, everybody you talk to in any sport, really, when they do finally, hang it up, especially in football, you miss the locker room, you miss the guys, you miss hanging out with the guys. And I think that's basically what he's doing right now. He's going on to commentate on Monday Night Football. That'll be his job. But right now, I mean, that was his home for how many years? 13, 16 years or something like that. It happens a lot. It happens a lot to a lot of former players.
Yeah, I mean, it was 13 years, and like I said, it's his home. He feels comfortable there, and I think that when you are in the midst of changing your life, when you go and make decisions, you want to feel as comfortable as possible.
I agree.
And I think that that's where he's at. I think that he is very comfortable there, and he's choosing to use that as the springboard for the rest of it. Not everybody's excited for the first day of the rest of their life.
He lives in Philly, correct? And that's where he's settling, apparently going to live there going forward. He could become mayor of Philly if he wanted to, couldn't he? Is he that popular?
Probably.
There
He
you go.
lives in Delaware County. He lives not far from me in Haverford.
All right. James, go ahead, James.
I want to ask Pags about his team. I think they're physically the most talented team in that division. Do you think they have what it takes with the new coaching to win the division again and go far in the playoffs?
My biggest nervousness is Kellen Winslow. For whatever reason, and take away every bit of talent, every bit of everything. Eagles that go to Dallas and Cowboys that come to Philadelphia don't work out very often. In fact, I can't even think of one that has worked out. And you could say he came from the Chargers. You could say all these other things. Truth of the matter is that when I think of Kellen Winslow, I think of him as a Cowboy. And he's got to prove a lot to get over that stigma. And that's what I'm most concerned about. I feel like last year, in the midst of everything else, that you had 3 players coaches in both coordinators and the head coach, and it didn't work out. Now you've got Vic Fangio, who is definitely not a player's coach. He's definitely organization, mindset. So I like that a little bit, especially because the defense stunk last year. When you're letting up 40 points a game, you want to get out of there. It's like when you have what was it? Drew Lock looked like Joe Montana. You want to change the defense. So I am excited to see that part. But it's a lot of new pieces on that defense, which means that they're going to take a minute to get themselves together, which means the offense has got to carry this team the first 4 to 6 weeks. And that's going to be a tough bag of burden for both the head coach and this new offensive coordinator to make sure that they can come out of that first 6 games. I mean, the first game is against a team that went to the NFC Championship. Or not great. Well, I mean, they could have. I mean, I guess they lost to Detroit, but they were 2 rounds in the playoffs. You know what I mean? They went further than the Eagles, and they're young and spunky. You know what I mean? So it's possible that they could, be an upset in Brazil. And we start this off out of the country and with the loss. You can't let that happen. Yeah. You have to be very in tune with what's going on and be able to get this, take the ball and start running right away, specifically on the offense.
And Pags using the spunky adjective, I haven't heard that used in a while. So good for Pags on that. Mac, it was suggested that maybe you said something about the Eagles and you were not afraid of Pags. And, of course, that's Jason stirring up the pot, as he always does. No, I am not afraid of Pags. Pags gives me no reason to be afraid of him. And I probably have said something about the Eagles. They're our rivals. And so there you go. That's the end of that. So thank you for your concern. Jason, I also found out that the Phillies will be playing on the Roku channel as part of their streaming deal with them. I don't think they'll be on our Roku channel. I think it's MLB. But Pags, I want you to talk to the Phillies management and see if you can set something up and maybe get them to come to our Roku channel if you could work on that.
Yeah, I'm on it. All right. Yeah, they just got a hold of me. We need $10 million.
That's it. All right.
10 million,
Okay.
10 million, $10 million.
All right. All right. So, well, at least we'll
At
have.
least we know the numbers.
Yes. Yes. And we'll work that. We'll have our guys call their guys and see if we could get it down a little bit lower than that. We haven't talked about MLB that much yet. Of course, Ohtani. The drama is still in the news. They're going to do a series. Hollywood's going to do a series on Ohtani story. With his interpreter.
Let's make up the whole story and put it on network television so
Yes.
that everybody has no idea what really happened.
Yes,
I love it.
exactly. So they're going to do this, and of course, it's about the betrayal of Ohtani by his interpreter friend, and of course, I didn't know that the interpreter, I forget his name, Asuraka or something like that, was actually giving the money to his friend who is on the Real Housewives of Orange County,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And so now this person, his husband is now he's cooperating with the investigators on immunity so he doesn't get in trouble. So there's a lot of tentacles to this story that we're not aware of, and I think Sonia's all over this. So I want to get Sonia in here and her opinion about what the hell's going on with this.
So this almost sounds like the situation with Teresa Giudice's ex-husband on the Housewives up there. One of those Northeasterners Housewives, Orange County. I don't know. I don't follow them too much. I follow the ones here in Atlanta though. But I do know that it sounds so familiar, like with that situation. Ohtani's interpreter is pleading guilty, but just like you said, there's so many tentacles because apparently he had some gambling debts with this person, and maybe this is how this is becoming, a reality network, whatever, because of the tentacles that it has already. But we have literally given this so much energy, and the fact is, this dude did whatever he did, or he was accused of doing it. He's pleading in the story. I don't know how they're making this into a network dramatization now, because they're not just going to make it about the gambling. They're probably going to put some other stuff in there that, perhaps he was here illegally. Like, it's just going to be so much other stuff in there to try to spark the interest of the viewer beyond just the fact that what we're supposed to know. But like Pag said, it's going to be so sensationalized that it's going to be so far removed from what factually happened. And it's so soon. Most of the time when people are accused of criminal offenses, it's years before documentaries or things actually make it to TV, except for Alex Murdaugh. Now that made it like within a year because it was so much going on in the low country.
I just got the script, and it says that nowhere did Ohtani bet at all. So they said nope. He wasn't even. He didn't even know how to gamble. He had to ask what a parlay was.
Starring Pags, the Philly sports guy.
Yes.
Making his acting debut.
Yes, but there's going to be tons of views. There's going to be the conspiracy theorists are going to be out in force, and this story will not go away this year. This is the biggest gambling, situation since Pete Rose.
I don't think we're thinking about it that much, Mac. I think the window's basically closed. Maybe the documentary is going to open it up again to an extent. But unless a little evidence starts to surface that he indirectly knew about the betting, at least, I don't think it's much of a story anymore.
I kind of want to segue. I want to segue on that for just a second. We look at how gambling is across like everything, not just big money gambling, but everybody's putting prop bets on everything because it's so, advertised. Like, Terry Bradshaw's money and, DraftKings and all this stuff that are actually supporting the sport. But we even see it coming into the league with Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels, who bet $10,000 on who would be the rookie of the year. Now they said they dialed it back. That's what they said. But I don't know if they really dialed it back or not. But these guys are just coming into the league, and all they're already seeing is the same thing that the league is supposedly be against.
Listen, I agree. I mean, When you have and there's different ways to bet now. You don't just bet on the wins and losses and the spreads. How many touchdowns will this guy get? How many sacks will this guy get? How many penalty calls will this get?
I was reached out by a site that said that I could bet on whether they'll find out if Ohtani actually made a bet.
Oh, wow.
You could actually gamble on that. And
Yes.
you can gamble on everything. Like, hey, is Russia going to nuke Ukraine? I mean, they have gambling sites now that deal with normal life rather than everything just sports related.
It's like
It's
Rat
getting
Race,
ridiculous.
that movie Rat Race.
So
Y'all
it's
saw
getting
that.
ridiculous.
Yes, I
Guys,
never saw.
Mac, let me just ask one topic. I don't know where you're going to bring it up. I get a feeling you weren't. The Tom Brady roast. It
Yes.
made me think about roasts in general. Should it take place? I mean, a roast can be a lot of fun depending on the questions being asked, but when it gets to really be personal, with Brady supposed to be there smiling and laughing, but I don't
You want to
care
know
for
why
it.
he was smiling and laughing? Because he got paid $25 million. I'd smile and laugh. Hey, you can roast the hell out of me. You can
When
say
he got
whatever
up
you
and
want
told-
about my family,
He
my
got up and
girlfriend.
told, when they made a joke about Robert Kraft getting a massage, he got up and told Ross, that comedian, don't say that S again. He literally said it. Like,
Yeah.
but they
Well-
talked about Giselle the whole time. It was horrible. And she was
Well-
offended, supposedly.
Well, that was they
But
knew.
she didn't get
Listen,
any money.
they knew
Right.
ahead of time.
Oh,
It was rehearsed ahead of
that's why
time.
Pat stinks. So
He
Giselle
knew-
got
he
a
knew-
cut of the pie. She
He
wouldn't
knew
be mad.
Ross. He knew Ross
pretty
was going to say that. That was discussed ahead of time. From what I understand, yeah, they go over this before that. And yeah, Brady did say no jokes about Kraft, but this was intended to be. In fact, from what I saw, they were kind of laughing about it when he went over there and told him, hey, don't do that. So I think that was
I
planned.
saw Belichick showing his teeth when it first came on, but you never see his teeth. So he was
Yes,
all
yes.
smiles.
Yes, yes.
In the history of roast, they've always been just some of the worst things you've heard, but they're funny. I don't get. We're in a society now where things are just changing. Where I mean, it's they, like you said, they rehearsed it. This is what's going to happen. I mean, and like Pag said, they paid him, which I didn't even know, $25 million. Come on, man.
$5 million.
Well,
That's
even though
crazy.
it's a roast, they made a comment about Aaron Hernandez. To me, that was not Tom Brady affiliated. It was way too far. To me, there's certain things that should never be aired because people struggle with those things seriously,
Oh,
and we
come
should
on,
be
Sonny.
empathetic.
Come on,
He
Sonia.
he said he went to hell, and Aaron Hernandez said hello. And then they
What?
talked about having rings around his neck from where he hung himself. That was
That's-
too far.
Well, that is. I didn't hear that. But I mean,
I didn't hear the hanging part. Yeah,
No,
No,
that's
no,
terrible.
certain things are funny, like the beginning of the show with Belichick and Drew Bledsoe. You know what the way he said, "Oh, we're replacing your Drew," or something
Yeah.
to the effect. Okay, that's funny. Even though it had to sting Bledsoe still a tiny bit, he
Yeah.
could laugh about it because of how great Brady was, and it turned out to be the good move.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you're
But you know-
facing your coach who basically cut you for the most part. So-
it's not just Tom Brady. They have roasts from what I was reading for all the teams. So it's not just singularly for the Patriots and Tom Brady. Every team does it. The Giants, the Eagles, probably Carolina. That would be very easy.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd be
roast.
willing to bet that the next roast that you hear about is going to be Jason Kelsey. It worked so
Yeah.
well. It worked so well that you're going to start to see roasts of like Shaquille O'Neal, who's done a roast before,
Yeah.
Charles Barkley. You're going to see some of these bigger names come up and get roasted by Netflix now because they made so much money. Everybody is still talking about it.
Yeah.
So yes,
Jack,
you're going to. And the one thing I did like about it, and I haven't even watched it, but the one thing I did like about it is that the comedians did go over the line And that's what comedy's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be making fun of real situations and going over the line. Yes, that's what makes it comedy. That's what makes you go, ooh. Hey, listen, there's too much cancel culture out there. And we
Yeah.
can go ahead and dismiss whatever we want to because we don't want to. We don't want to hear about it. So we're going to just dismiss it and we're going to cancel it. It doesn't make it go away. So
Yeah,
I
Have
like the
y'all
fact
ever
that
heard of Don Rickles and Richard Pryor and George Carlin? And all these?
Thank
So I've seen some of those roasts, man. You'd be like,
Yeah.
if today they were saying some of the things that they said back then, today, man, they'd be annihilated.
but some of it, they say comedians use comedy to cover pain, to deal with pain. And trust me, I get that. But to me, the only thing that was really real that was good was when they said Tom Brady really has 8 rings and not 7 because Giselle gave hers back to him. I like that. Well, that's real. And that was good. But I just feel like for me, the Aaron Hernandez situation was not Tom Brady related. That's why it was not I know they played on the same team, but it was not connected. The roast was
Sonia,
about Tom.
when you are at a roast, everybody in that room,
Yeah.
and whether anybody who's been tied to anybody in that room is fair game, and that's what happens. That's the way it goes. So there's no doubt in my mind that that was planned. And listen, truth of the matter is that had he been a good guy, they wouldn't have been able to do anything in that roast.
Yeah.
So
Well, he
it
wasn't
was
a bad guy just because he had a couple of relationships that
What?
didn't work
What?
out. It
He
doesn't make
killed
him.
somebody. He killed
No, I
somebody.
think
No,
No, he
I'm
was
talking
a
about
bad
Tom
guy.
Brady. No, I meant Tom Brady.
No,
I
he's
meant
talking
the
about-
roast
he's
of
talking about
Tom
Brady.
Brady.
But
Tom
but
Brady
guys,
did say his kids had to be off limits with the jokes beforehand. That was
but
one
guys,
of the conditions.
but guys, I mean, this is a big circle. They used to have the Dean Martin roast. We used to sit there and watch it every night, as you said, with Don Rickles and some of the other comedians there. They used to be on every week. So I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny. One of the lines I remember on the Dean Martin, they were roasting Dean Martin, and Floyd Patterson, former heavyweight champion, came out there, and then Dean Martin said, "You come with me backstage after the show, and I'll show you a real championship belt." It had to do with Martin's drinking and Patterson holding the belt. Stuff like that is funny. That kind of makes a roast. But when it digs deeply into someone's personal life, hurtful things, like the Robert Kraft thing, I agree with Brady. That had to be off limits. But digging Brady about
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I
not.
disagree with that.
No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's funny.
I give it. You win that point.
It's funny.
I can
It's funny.
understand. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, not only that, but I mean, I love the fact that was high-level gamesmanship. That was gamesmanship between owners. We talked about this on this show about, I said the whole timeline of what occurred between the Patriots and the Dolphins ownership. That him getting busted for those massages was absolutely planned by the Dolphins ownership.
Wow.
I went through the whole timeline. Remember? You guys remember that? I don't know if I can find that timeline, but I know it was like bam, 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 bam. And
I do remember. I do remember.
We got time. We can find it and we can hear it today because I didn't hear it. We got time today.
I have to find that book. I have it written down because it showed the entire timeline, and it was gamesmanship of another level. Like that was ownership gamesmanship because of course he's in Miami, and this is where he gets busted. Do you know how hard it is to have a bust happen at a very specific time when there's somebody in there specifically? You got to be sitting there and wait for that.
And
to
in
happen.
Miami, like Party City, they were waiting.
Well,
Exactly.
let's talk a little about Daniel Snyder. He's back in the news again, right? So, in an effort to kind of repair his what do you want to say, his reputation or his public image, he decided that he's going to sell his mansion and give the money to the Cancer Society. Of course, by doing this, I don't know what the percentage is. It's not the total amount of money, but by doing this, he's also talking He has a small percentage left in the Washington Commanders Redskins team. He's going to sell that. And of course, he'll get a lot of money back from that. So here's the rich getting richer. I don't know if this helps him at all. I mean, it's hard to, make disappear of all the things that happened during his time as owner. But
yeah, I heard to better his image, he was going to get together with the old Clippers owner.
yes,
And they were going to start a
Donald
documentary
Sterling.
about
yes, I heard that too. I heard that was next on the agenda. Pax, NHL Rangers lose their first game.
Okay, I'm going to duck out, Mac. Yeah.
Okay.
Go. Okay.
Take care.
Have a good week, everyone. Take care.
All right.
see.
Have a good one.
So there you go, Jack Hirsch. If we're talking about hockey, he's out here. But anyway, the NHL Rangers lose their first game. They won 7 in a row. I still think that they're on a track to be the Stanley Cup for their side of the conference. Anyway, Pags, Vegas gets knocked out. I know you were talking about them last week. So what are your thoughts on the NHL playoffs so far?
Rangers look really good. Obviously, winning 2 overtime games. I think if you look at the way the NHL works, I really thought Carolina was going to win that game. The Rangers took a bad penalty at the end of the game, and they scored that power play goal. I mean, it's been a physical series. The Rangers have been very intimidating. It's going to be interesting to see how they face up against Florida, because I think Florida comes out of that series as well with Boston. That first game, Boston kind of took, but I think Florida is the better team, and they have the better goalie, and that's going to be a tough one on that side. I think that Dallas and Colorado are about to link up. I think that that's going to be a really I think the winner of either one of those guys. I just don't think Vancouver's got enough on that side, or Edmonton. Really, I think Edmonton's got good goalie, but that's about it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I like the Rangers. I'm a big fan of Zibanejad. I love when good hockey is being played, and right now the Rangers are playing good hockey. And not only are they playing good hockey, but they're leaving that oaf Lempe on the bench. Obviously he's on the team, but he's getting maybe 5-6 minutes a game. So it's not like they're bullying guys. They are just straight out beating them. And I think that as long as Shesterkin stays strong, they have a really good shot.
Well, a couple of
As
points.
long as you keep having miscues by the Rangers, Panarin, I still feel like the Hurricanes have a solid chance. I'm rooting for my home team.
Yeah, there's been 2 teams ever, Flyers being one of them, against Boston, that have come back from 0-3 deficits to win.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
3-1.
But I think that once they get back to New York and they get back into the Garden, I think the Garden's just going to prove to be too much for them.
Yeah.
When the moment they talked about having, and I'm a monster Rod Brindamore fan, but when I heard that he was possibly leaving the team, I was like, there's problems now. There's problems. You can't have the possibility of your coach going somewhere else right when you're in the middle of a playoff run.
That was crazy. I couldn't believe they even announced that. I was like, what is, talk about the timing? And I saw that, I was like, this can't be real. Like, they are literally fighting for their lives at this point. And then you throw that bomb on there. It's just like, it's a defeat. I was really disappointed in that.
Yeah, I agree. And I love Rod Brindamore. If he gets let go, I want Flyers to get rid of Torts and go pick him up right away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A couple points, Pags. I saw that, the penalty the Rangers got, he kind of tried to trip him with his stick when he was going to the goal. We got a penalty that way. Is that just a reaction? Or you think is he just beaten? He's trying to, he'd rather get the penalty than give up an easy goal, maybe?
So it's so odd how that all works out. Truth of the matter is that it's caused by the offensive guy going and actually pushing through, and you have your stick out there, and what happens is as the offensive guy is pushing through, he steps on the stick and it's a tripping penalty. So it's not really a trip in the real sense of things. It's actually caused by the offensive guy. So I know when I watched it the other day when it was in overtime, and he got tripped. It was who was the guy? The guy who wound up scoring the goal was
Right.
the one that got tripped, and that was all done because of hustle. And that's what occurs. The defenseman is naturally going to be a little bit slower than the guy who's on offense. So he's got to have his stick out there, and his stick is used as kind of like a blocker, part of the wall. And when you can get around him and then you step on that stick and you trip, that's a trip. And it's nothing that the defenseman is even going to be able to do to stop it.
All right. So the Bruins, they're playing. Who are the Bruins up? I forget who they're playing real quick.
Panthers.
The Panthers. The referee said they're going to kind of clamp down because of the excess fighting that happened. I'm all for fights in hockey, but when it starts getting in the way of the game itself, I guess they kind of reel it in a little bit more.
Yeah, to be honest, it's really the only way. Like Boston is more imposing. They're going to try to play bully ball, and Florida just isn't going to take it. You know what I mean? It's going to be the same way against the Rangers. There's a reason why that trophy, the Stanley Cup, is the most coveted trophy in all of sports. It's the hardest trophy to attain. And when you have a 7-game series against two teams that have equal strength on both teams, I'm not a big fan of the goaltender for Boston. I think that Jeremy Swayman is too soft to be a playoff goaltender. So I think that's why I think Florida is going to win it. But I think Boston knows that too, and they have to impose their will on Florida, and Florida's not taking it, which is why you're seeing all the chippiness. And the referees are going to start calling more ticky-tack stuff to keep it down.
Yeah, I honestly have never seen, not for a long time. I followed hockey way back when, not as much now. But there's been more fights, and the refs have allowed more fights in a game. The whole damn teams were fighting each other in one game there. They all threw down their gloves. Is that part of the reason? Maybe the NHL, especially in the playoffs, say, hey, we can't have that happening now.
I think that. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think the NHL needs more of it. I mean, for instance, you think back when the Flyers and the Rangers played, and you think back to that one fight where it was like old-time hockey, an old-time fight where the referees knew the fight was going to happen. They made sure to give them the wide space and let them fight, and it was national news that there was an old-time fight. They're removing some of the grit from hockey a little bit. And in the playoffs, that grit comes back. And most times the referees' whistles are in their pockets. And sometimes, like we said, when you have these two teams, when you have one team trying to impose their will on another team, it will sometimes work out into a monster fight. And that's what's happening between Boston and Florida. These teams don't like one another. And, they're fighting for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. I mean, the ultimate prize. So, I could, like I said, if it starts to interfere with the game too much, they got to do something. So I think that's what they're doing right now. We'll talk a little boxing, even though Jack isn't here since he checked out a little earlier. George Kambosos loses to Lomachenko. Lomachenko hit him with a couple body shots. You don't see that a lot. I mean, normally it's a headshot, but he hit Kambosos with a couple body shots. The last one, taking him out, they called the fight. Lomachenko has been one of those boxers that's been involved in the Ukrainian war. He even took time off to go fight in the war. And, he came back and of course, there's been some talk back between him and the Russian fighters, the Klitschko brothers and stuff like that, and some bad feelings there. But anyway, he comes back, wins the title, and Kambosos loses the third time, I think, in 3 fights. Kambosos is really not a top contender anymore. I don't know if any of you guys watched the fight at all, but it was a pretty devastating shots that he took. And
I did not watch the fight, but I wish Jack was here because I have been in contact with Sonny Conto, who is the heavyweight who's undefeated. And I spoke to somebody very close to him and put my feeler out there to put my hat in the ring to possibly be a manager / promoter of one of his fights coming up.
That would be cool.
Wow, that's
As I was talking about how I thought that boxing needs a new Don King, well, the only person I know of that can talk like Don King and act like Don King somewhat and has some weak, freaky hair like him is me. So, I mean, I would definitely need Jack's help with that because obviously I don't know anything about the boxing world, but I do know that that Sonny Conto has got a shot. Maybe he's still a little green, I would think, because he's only 11-0 with 10 knockouts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. 11-0 with 10 knockouts is pretty good to start. And I'd need like maybe a couple of fights to get up there before we get the title chance. But I think maybe with a loud voice on his side, talking good smack, we might get it.
Hey, listen, careers have started under stranger circumstances, Pags, right? So you never know. Pags might be a promoter, and you get one boxer, maybe you get another, Pags. Who knows? I mean, if you want to dream big, right? That's what I say.
Hey, listen, they just got to be from Philly. We're always talking about the Philly guys being good. He keeps mentioning that one guy that I don't even know his name, and that he's a Philly guy, and that I want, the problem is that nobody knows his name because I don't know his name. And if I knew his name and I started promoting him, everybody would know his name.
Yeah, he's not a great interview either. He's kind of soft spoken too. I mean, and they listen. Boots Ennis. Nobody wants to fight this guy, Bags. You had Spence, who decided he didn't want to fight him. They got a second, number 2 rated southpaw. I forget his name right now. He doesn't want to fight him. So nobody wants to fight this kid.
And he's soft spoken. That's perfect for me. I want somebody to just not say a word. Let me do the talking. Let me run. Let me be the smack talk. You back it up in the ring, because I'm not a boxer. I can't tell you anything about it. I'm not going to be able to manage him in the ring. I'm not going to be, hey, just hit him. I don't know. It's like I'm not that guy. But I am the guy that's going to be able to promote him. And if he's quiet, that's even better, because I can go ahead and get away with just about anything. And he's just going to be like, and that's it. Everybody's afraid of him? Perfect.
Pags, I can see Pags now. This is what you got to do, Pags. Find out where they train, right? Find out where Conto and Ennis train. Get a big cigar, walk in there, bigger than life, and tell them you're here to take them to the top. You know what I mean?
I'd have to be already painted up. I got to be painted up in their colors. I'd just be like, hey, I am here now.
Right.
Come with me.
There you go. I mean, listen, it's possible. Stranger things have happened.
People already know Pag, so he's already a familiar face, so he could definitely pull it off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a world that I know nothing about. And listen, that's why I would need Jack's expertise, because I don't want to go walking in there just to get chewed up and spit back out again. You know what I mean? I'd need some inside intel to be able to make that all occur. But I may be throwing my hat in the ring. That's kind of why I was waiting on this. I was hoping he didn't leave. I was like, oh man, now I got to wait till next.
Well, you got to get in contact with him. That's all. And I heard Frank Lotierzo is just not taking your calls anymore, Bags. That's what I heard.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it is. Maybe I'll show up tomorrow. Just happen to come in. Be like, hey.
Frank talks to me.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, well,
Frank's
will
a little
talk-
punchy. Frank's
Frank
a little
will-
punchy sometimes.
Frank will talk to anybody that doesn't disagree with him, and
Oh,
if you don't disagree with him, he likes you. I mean, me and Jack get away with it because we do the show together pretty much at JB talking. No, at Glove Fist. But yeah, Frank is pretty much the loudest voice in the room when he can be. I like the way he pauses when he talks.
yeah, he does.
Anyway, so Tyson Fury is slimmed down, and he's getting ready to fight Usyk, who is a better technical fighter than him by far. Tyson Fury does have a reach advantage. His chin isn't the best. Usyk does have power even at his weight. I think he's 210. I think Tyson Fury, well, he slimmed down, but I know he was up to 260. So if he's taking 20 pounds off, he's about 240. Doesn't really matter in the heavyweight division, I don't think. Power is power, and I would pick Usyk to win this fight. Even though Fury is a skilled boxer, especially going away, he can hit you, and he does have a little bit of power himself. But I'd definitely go with Usyk, just for his technical expertise. I don't know if any of you guys.
Isn't it such a shame that that fight should be such a monster fight?
Yes.
It should be such a monster fight. But again, I keep thinking more about who's going to win the fight between Tyson and Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That Usyk Fury should overshadow that fight by millions and millions of dollars. This is why they need somebody like me in boxing.
Well, I'm
dead serious.
They do. His name is Jake Paul. He's got an unbelievable YouTube following, and every day he's pounding, trying to pound on Tyson with somebody's going to die here and all this other nonsense. I really do hope Tyson catches him and shuts his mouth up for a while. That would be great to me. But hey, Jake Paul.
The fact that they sanctioned this fight, I think, is great for a lot of reasons.
I do
This
too.
is opening up the door for the I would call it like the veterans division, where you're going to have 50-year-olds coming back into boxing. Like, I would not be surprised to see George Foreman come out of retirement into what would be considered this new veterans division. I know that Tyson's been working on this for a little while. We had that fight with Ray Jones Jr. I think that this is going to really start to spawn that.
Evander Holyfield too.
Yeah, but some of these fighters are. If you listen to them talk, Tyson isn't that bad. That is. Holyfield has a problem putting a sentence together. I'd be as scared to see him.
Holyfield always had a problem putting it.
that might be.
So it's not like that was something. I don't think that it's due to punchiness. I think that it has to do with the fact that his upbringing and the way that he talked in general. I think that's part of what's up with Evander Holyfield. That guy is still in great shape. And not only that, like, I would think about Herschel Walker and Evander Holyfield having a boxing match would be amazing. They could get two words out to each other, but they would be an amazing fight.
I don't think so. I think Herschel Walker would kill him. Herschel Walker, a former MMA champion, fifth degree black belt in karate. The dude still can do like 1,000 push-ups.
Well, yeah, but he's got a box. It's a boxing match. It's all that stuff that goes out the window a little bit. So I mean, I think it would be an entertaining bout. And now that they started to sanction 2-minute rounds.
I think so too. But normally when a boxer and MMA fight, it's normally by MMA rules when they do that. Listen, I don't know if it's a good idea, Pags. I mean, who would want to watch? I don't think I would want to watch right now in their old age, Foreman fighting whomever. I really wouldn't want to watch that. I mean, and if they're going to fight younger guys, really real boxers, not Jake Paul, the real boxers are going to win. The younger guys.
I tell you, when you look at, and I know of a couple of guys who have been around boxing all their life that they're like 75 years old. And I tell you what, they still look like they could get into the ring and beat up they could beat me up. You know what I mean? I'm 50 years old. I got 25 years on him and still feel like that I would get my ass kicked by some of these 75-year-old guys. And when you're in the boxing and you are in that lifestyle, you don't leave that lifestyle. It consumes you. And so, although it sounds ridiculous that we would not want to watch two 75-year-old guys fighting, I think I'll be honest. I kind of feel like it's intriguing. It's like the train wreck that you gotta watch. You know that it's like I
So
think
you
that
can't look away.
it would be kind of cool to see that. You'd feel bad for the guy who gets knocked out, but I think that there is something for that, and it goes back a little bit to Rocky Balboa. You know what I mean? That I'm talking the movie Rocky Balboa when he's like, I still got stuff in the basement. You know what I mean? Because these boxers still do. It's still in them. It's still a part of their lives. So I think that there is a market for it.
Yeah, hey, there's a market for anything really. I mean, talking bananas. There's a market for anything out there. I still can't get into girls fighting. I don't like it. I just don't like watching girls beat the hell out of each other. I think about my daughter or whatever. I know that a lot of people think I'm nuts. I'm a chauvinist. I'm not. If you get attacked somewhere, a girl should be able to defend herself. I taught my daughter how to defend herself. Got it. But I can't watch two women blood each other up in the middle of the ring, and it just bothers me. I don't know how you guys feel, but it just
there was a match on last night, and I feel the same way. What's the girl, Ronda Rousey? I mean, cute face, pretty face, and that's the last time I've seen two women fight, and I didn't watch the whole thing. It was so disturbing. Some things, I mean, people probably disagree with me, especially me being a woman, but I agree with you, Mac. Like, it's one thing to defend yourself, but to deliberately go out and bloody yourself up as a female, like, let's just keep some of our femininity to ourselves. Like, I just feel like there's no reason for a woman to go around with a busted up face because they chose.
That's
I know
part
they
of the
chose
problem.
the profession. I know they chose the profession, but I'm saying I just don't like it. I don't like it either.
Feminists all around the world are not going to be happy with what you're saying. It's like,
I
hey,
know.
listen, they want equal.
If they choose to do that, they can choose to do that for them. But I, as a fan, a connoisseur of sports, do not like it. As a female, I do not like it because it's one thing to defend myself and another thing to deliberately sign up for my face to be broken, bruised, everything. It's barbaric, honestly.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Sonia. If they offered you $2 million to get in the ring and maybe get your face busted up, I mean, that's what it is, right? I mean, it's about the money, whether.
I mean, but let's be clear too. I mean, this is just regular, just anatomy. People can die from head blows, and women, and like it or not, feminists or not, it is scientifically proven that women's bodies are designed differently than men's are, not just for reproductive purposes, but just sustainability purposes. So a punch to a woman could take a woman out or deform them for life that a man may be able to sustain, whether it comes from another female or from a man. So for me, I just feel like there's no price on my health and my productivity in life. So I'm going to be like, you know what? I guess it depends on how hard up for cash I really am. Asking me today, no, there's no price on me knowing that I may have a brain injury from a fight I signed up for, and I can't even enjoy that $2 million. That $2 million may be used to keep me alive because I'm hooked up to machines because I took a head blow. It's just not worth it to me. You got to kind of look at the big picture sometimes beyond what's in front of you.
That's fair enough. James, how about you? Would you get in the ring, MMA ring? You go train. You got to train first, of course, but you're going to go up against one of the better MMA fighters, and they offer you $2 million. Go in there and give a showing.
They don't even. First of all, MMA, they don't even offer that amount of money.
Well, I'm just saying
you have to get. No, still wouldn't. Not for boxing.
Really?
I play football. Football is a brutal sport. No, I wouldn't want to get in the ring with boxing, man.
Really?
Those guys, unless if I had it in me to want to be a fighter, getting hit in the head thing and seeing pugilism is a beautiful sport. It's beautiful when you see it how it's done, but the end results for some of them that stay too long, you see what happens to guys after that. I just wouldn't. No, I wouldn't get in the ring for the money for that unless I was a boxer. Let's just say not just getting in the ring. If I was somebody that loved that sport, then it'd be differently. If I'm standing in that guy's shoes, then I'm saying I want to go to the top. I want everything that I deserve, that I earned. But just saying no, hypothetically, no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't get in the ring.
Well, I know about Bo Crouch is saying you are say dudes pull off cauliflower ear better.
Is
Wow.
it okay?
I think that the talk to text didn't work there really well. So,
Right.
something about
Has he
cauliflower
been,
ear.
has he been in a
Yeah.
fight that took a headshot? That's what it sounds like.
Well, Bo has a reputation of drinking before 12, so I think that's what it is.
Oh, hi, Bo.
Oh, he's drinking before 8.
Yes.
It's early
If I
over there.
If I lived in Seattle,
Yeah.
if I lived in Seattle, I'd be drinking heavily too. That's one place that I wouldn't want to live. So let's ask you, Pags. Pags, you have to go up against a boxer, MMA fighter, whoever, a very good one. They offer you $2 million. You train for however long you think to get in shape. Do you do it?
Yeah. Especially MMA. Only because the one thing that I'm good at is I can take a punch. At least I used to be able to. It's been a long time since I got punched in the head. But,
Right.
I would absolutely get in the ring. Because the truth of the matter is with MMA, if you catch the guy right, the fight's over. And anyone can do that, one punch or one kick to do that. So I have more of a chance there. It's likely that they're going to catch me. I'm going to fall back. He's going to pound on me 3 times. The ref is going to come grab him, and the fight's over. I'm going to take my $2 million and go home. Bloody eye, busted nose. Guess what? My eye, my nose will all get fixed. I'll have $1.8 million to figure the rest of it out.
Right. Minus the taxes. But anyway, we're
We're going to
if
fight in Dubai, so I don't have to pay the tax.
There you go. If I didn't have my medical condition, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I can't look the way I am now. But if I didn't do it, I'd be signing on the dotted line. I have no problem with that at all. And I'd wear my
$2 million. $2 million is my number. $1 million ain't enough. $2 million.
Right. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Go ahead.
What
I'll
about
pillow fight Sonya for $1 million though.
I'll pillow fight you. Yes.
What about the fight last night where the girl, Nina Hughes versus Johnson? The guy incorrectly called the winner. I mean, he called Nina Hughes the winner, and then he realized he was wrong, and then had to have the ref bring him back out and call Johnson the winner. That's crazy. How does that even happen?
I guess they're not qualified as they used to be. I don't know. Maybe he got hit with a punch. I've seen refs get hit with a punch. I've seen refs take control of a fight. I don't know if you guys ever seen the video, but check it out. Just look at refs controlling MMA or boxing. They put these guys in chokeholds, and so they don't mess around.
Oh yeah. There's times where I've watched one of the fighters swing at the ref, and the ref knock him out.
Yeah.
So those refs got to train in MMA to get in the ring like that. Like I'm not going in there to ref an MMA fight because I'm not going to put myself in that type of harm's way.
Yeah. And these refs are former fighters and stuff, boxing and they're former wrestlers and whatever. Man, this guy was pounding on MMA fighter was pounding on another one. He took him, threw him off. He went back again. He took him and threw him off. He went back again, and the guy threw him on the floor. And even the cops came in. I mean, this is how bad it was. And he had him in a chokehold. I mean, wow. So anyway, don't mess around when it comes to that. So, folks, again, happy Mother's Day. Glad you guys could join us, Bo, Jason.
Got a New York T-shirt on for you today, Matt.
All right, there you go. The Yankees. Yes, the Yankees. We
Oh,
didn't even talk about
they are what the third best team in Major League Baseball behind the Phillies.
Yankees. Yes.
Yes, of course, they don't play in the same division, Pax. I mean, you
He's
guys
got a
Doesn't
Braves
matter.
too,
Doesn't
though.
matter. We all play all the same teams now. Everybody plays the same teams, and we all
Yeah,
play everybody.
if
And
you
the
wouldn't-
Phillies
listen.
are number one.
Okay, I give it to you.
Braves are coming. He's got a Braves shirt too. Braves are
Okay.
coming.
All right, there you go. The Braves,
Braves are
coming.
having a little bit of a hard time. They're injury ridden, and I fully expect now. Before I thought the Braves were going to win the NL East. I got the Phillies winning it now. I think that the Braves are getting too far behind and don't have the pitching to withstand
They really
making
are.
a run. They're going to
Yep.
be in the playoffs, but it's
It's hard.
Pax, last year you guys were like 13 games out and still made the playoffs.
but yeah.
Right.
Well, no, they're going to make the playoffs. The Braves are still one of the better teams in the National League. In fact, I would go as far to say they're the third best team in the National League. But their pitching's not going to be able to hold up because now that like I said, the injuries are hurting them. The injuries are really hurting them.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I saw that I didn't go over. This kid Skeen, I talked about him Friday. He struck out 7 batters, ended up walking in like 4-2. He lost control. Throws 102 miles an hour. So that's going to be interesting to see how far this kid goes. Throwing sausage at players after they hit home runs. They almost knocked one of the guys out, hit him in the helmet. And, he was wearing 2 helmets when he came.
With a sausage?
With
They hit him with a sausage?
Package sausage. So I don't know.
That's awesome.
No,
That's something
Italian.
I want to start throwing weenies after home runs. That's perfect.
You never saw such a thing.
No. Right, there you go.
Look at you being
Yes.
funny and everything.
Yes. She's scheduled for the next roast when they roast Bryce Young. But anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in to the Big Football Show and more. Thanks to Keith Angle, of course, Pags, James, Sonia, great job as always. Jack checked out early, but he was here, and I know you all saw him. But anyway, thanks again for all the likes, loves. Glad having you. Stay tuned to Roku, All Sports, all day. And we are on Instagram Threads now. So Instagram Threads is supposed to be a huge thing. And we're on there right now promoting, sharing videos and stuff like that. So check us out over there on Instagram Threads. All right. Have a great one. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy your Mother's Day.